All right, welcome back live. We continue right here on the Allegheny Health Network Nightly Sports Call. 412-575-2600 puts you on the Borders and Borders hotline. Right now it remains a scoreless game. The Penguins once again do yeoman's work on the penalty kill. 5-on-3 included. They took care of that. Really technically sound in front of Matt Murray, blocking shots and making everything Nashville had was to the outside. And that's the way you do it if you're going to succeed in this sort of game. As far as other chances, I think the Penguin stars should be fresh right now. They've been on the bench for quite a while after all these penalty kills, and maybe one of them can strike up a goal here. They need something. You'd hate to see it go to overtime just because you know what overtime is like, although for Nashville, those fans really haven't had a taste of this, especially staring straight at elimination for their season. So very interesting plots as we go along here. We'll see what happens. Let's go to Jim in Johnstown. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Bob. I just want to make a few comments on a Penguin game. First of all, I'm just wondering when they're going to call a penalty against Nashville. I sat and I watched the same things they called against the Penguins. I have seen Nashville do it. If you're going to hold the whistle, hold it for both sides. Then don't just call certain penalties here, certain penalties there.
I agree, and they had two prime opportunities before the call on what we saw from Connor Sheary, which was not even a penalty. I thought Yarncroc actually embellished that. He should have been called for penalty, or no call best. Instead, Russ gets tripped. They don't call it. Then they call the one on Sheary. But before that, Carl Hagelin had a great opportunity moving in goal, and he tried to go wide of Pecorine, who knew that he was dead if he did, and he went out and tripped him blatantly. It should have been interference, should have been tripping. But again, I think the officials in this situation were reverting back to the missed call with the early whistle. I think they knew that was the wrong call, and then they have sort of refereed this game back-asswards, if you know what I mean. You just don't do it that way. You call the game as it comes to you. You don't let make-up calls become an issue, and that's exactly what we've seen so far in this game, I think. Let's go out to line 2, Brad in Duncansville. Hey, Brad.
Hi, Bob. How are you, buddy?
What's up?
Oh, this game is too nerve-wracking, and I think I agree with you on the last caller about the penalty that should have been called when Hagelin got tripped.
Yeah, that was an obvious call, and they didn't call it.
And I have a question for you that I would like the NHL to start doing.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to happen. I would like to see 3-on-3 overtime.
They're not going to do that. I love 3-on-3 in the regular season, Brad, but they're just not going to do it. There's too much at stake for this. They have to play at the full length, and they do, and they should. Let's go to Joe in Huntington. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
All right, what do you think?
I was just wondering to see when are we ever going to get a Pence call? When are we ever going to get the Pence on a power play?
Well, they got to call one. I got to believe at some point they got to call it on Nashville. They've committed penalties. They just have not been called. And again, I think the officiating is kind of blind based on the fact that they missed a call earlier, and they're using that as a reason to not call other calls. And that's wrong. That's blatantly wrong, and the league should, reprimand some of these officials if that's how it's going to be. It should not be this way. And I'm just saying, to be fair on either side, I thought that was a terrible call. It should have been a goal for Nashville. They blew that whistle way too soon. But, hey, that's part of it. It's the proper call based on how it's written, but they blew it. And so then the officials reverted to not calling anything on Nashville as sort of a payback. All right, man, thanks. Appreciate the call. Let's go to line 3. That's Harry. What's up, Harry? How you doing?
Hey, Bob, good to talk to you again.
You too.
Hey, I'm with you. This officiating, these guys got to go. Something's got to be done about them. I mean, I think Pittsburgh would have been better off just to get the goal in. I think they'd had a better game this far because, man, these calls are terrible. Subban punched Crosby in the face 3 times, and they didn't call it. I'm just frustrated. Thanks.
Yeah, a lot of people are right now, but it's one of those games that's going to keep you on the edge of your seat for quite a while. John in Brookline. Hey, John.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. We should put Crosby and Malcolm on the same line, and we'll take the game. Thank you.
All right, well, they're not going to do that. That was a Dan Bilesma thing, and I don't think Mike Sullivan has really done that. Although he's picked his spots here. There were a couple of times where Nashville got called for a timeout. He switched some of his lines, and he jumped Crosby over the boards to be matched up with a 4th line, which was stuck on the ice because of the icing call. That sort of stuff is great to do. They've had their share of chances here. The bottom line is they haven't gotten any calls their way with regard to penalties. And quite frankly, I think they should have had 2 calls at least, and that's just the way it is. And it has nothing to do with being someone based in Pittsburgh. It has everything to do with calling it the right way. As I said, Nashville got robbed. That was a goal. That was a terrible call. But it should not influence future calls. And that's exactly what's happening here. Because the official made a mistake, and they know it deep down they did. They saw the replay, I'm sure. So now what are they doing? Not calling things that should be called. And that's BS. That should not occur. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. We'll check some tweets here, and if you get your calls in during this commercial break, let me see. Hondo, I'm not going to read your tweet because it's BS. What else we got here? Mike Mechaletti says, we really need a power play opportunity. Nashville's had 3, now 4. They're playing disciplined hockey. No, they're not, Mike. They've committed penalties. The officials just don't want to call them. And that, again, that's my point. I think if you heard Keith Jones at the end of the second period, he said the same thing. So Ash on Twitter says, still nothing, Bob. I guess Nashville can get away with anything as long as Penn's got hit on a few really soft ones early. Well, you know, this looks like it's destined for overtime here, Ash. So what are you going to do? If it is, it comes down to one play. There's a catfish on the ice again. Sometimes those are thrown at the wrong times. It seems to interrupt play, especially if Nashville's going well. The last thing you want to do is throw one on the ice then. 412-575-2600. Also going on, of course, tomorrow will be game number, what one are we at here? Number 4? No, game 5. Yeah, 3-1. I can't keep count. Golden State back at home, taking on Cleveland. Cleveland put together a really good effort the other night, 137 points, 24 threes. They were outstanding. They actually outscored. It's hard to believe Golden State by 39 from the three-point line. Think about that, by 39 total points on a team that's one of the best three-point shooting teams I've ever seen. But that's how Cleveland has to play again, and they have to come up with transition basketball, no turnovers, and they have to do it. It's going to be harder to do at Oracle Arena, I can guarantee you that. I like Golden State in 5. I'll stick to that, and I think they'll win tomorrow and clinch this NBA championship. 412-575-2600. Watching the game now, 5:29 left. And the Penguins are trying to get something going here. Jake Gensel has had plenty of opportunities. He has the puck now, looking to set things up as Nashville seems to at times revert to a 1-2-1 here when they're trying to take the puck away from the Penguins or at least neutralize their transition game. Puck is bouncing all over the place. That's another thing I saw tonight. This ice surface, it was criticized the last time. It doesn't seem any better right now. Nashville back on the fly. So far, loose puck, and it's kicked away by Murray. Hornquist now trying to clear, and he can't do it along the boards. Evgeny Malkin to Carl Hagelin, who's really flying tonight. Carl Hagelin has been the best player on the ice, I think, for the Penguins in terms of creating opportunities. He seems to have finally overcome his injuries, and those have slowed him down even after his return. He was not the same. PK Subban hit now in the corner. It goes over to Forsberg, pressured by Hagelin. Taken away by the Penguins. They now clear the zone, get onside. Nashville takes over the puck. All right, I'm going to continue to talk to myself here as I watch this game, and we'll take more of your calls on the way. Nashville with an opportunity on a wraparound, which has sometimes been Murray's worst asset here, getting from side to side, but he gets over that time, and he does make the play. We're down to 4 minutes left in this hockey game. Regulation anyway, it's still a scoreless game. One goal can decide the Stanley Cup. One goal can allow Nashville to move on to Game 7. You know you don't want a Game 7, even though it's at home. I mean, you like them, but you don't want to press your luck that much if it's possible, because anything can happen, as we've witnessed in this game as well. All right, 3 minutes, 55 seconds left. We'll take a break, come back, see what happens, get more calls right here live. Pittsburgh CW.